as of now, this instance is at its bare minimum. That is, we just have the operating system and a few supporting softwares. To make it a web server, we must install IIS, that is Internet Information Services, which is supported on Windows platform. So let us install IIS. We'll go to the start menu, just click, and here server manager, you can see this server manager. Okay, click on this server manager and wait for a few seconds. A third block, yes, find file storage is also there. So now once these three blocks are here, you just click on add roles and features. Just maximize it, and like any other Microsoft installation, just don't worry too much about whatever has been written here. You just need to go on with next after selecting IIS in server roles. Again one next. Okay, we are inside server roles. Here you need to select web server, that is IIS. See, add features that are required for web servers. Okay, add features. So by default it will add whatever is the minimum requirement for IIS. Okay, we will click next again. Okay, it's going to add .NET Framework 4.6, no problem. Next, and role services. In role services, whatever basic is required, it has been check marked, so we don't need to change anything over here. FTP server, etc. If it is required, you can check it, otherwise just leave it blank. Okay, so we'll go with the default one, and then finally install. It might take a few seconds to install. By the time it is getting installed, just I will minimize it and we'll see something else. We will go to the file explorer, this PC. See, we have out of 29.9, if you remember, it's a 30 GB drive. So out of 30 we have 14.8 GB free as of now. Okay, so almost half is occupied by Windows, I mean the OS. I think it has been installed, IIS has been installed, because this inet pub is there. We'll go and check. Yes, it's getting installed. Okay, installation succeeded on this machine. Okay, close it. Close it. So once the IIS is installed, you will find this inet pub inside C drive, local C drive. Okay, inet pub and www root. Now we will go to the IIS Windows R and inet mgr. Okay, this is the shortcut for accessing IIS, that is your web server. Click OK, and we are here inside IIS. Expand it, sites. So this is the place where we define our sites. You can create new sites, or you can check using default site whether we have been successful with the IIS installation or not, whether it is working perfectly fine as expected. So default website, we can right click and we can go to manage website. Here you can restart, stop, or browse your website. We can browse it from here, or alternatively we can browse it from here as well. You can see this browse website, browse at port 80. Now let us click this and come to this explorer. Okay, this is there. So here we have the IIS default page running in localhost. Now if you want to access this web page from internet, you must go ahead with this public DNS, that is EC2 13.126.4.143.ap south, whatever. Okay, so we will check whether it's available on the internet or not. Now I am at my AWS console, and this was the server, if you remember, my first server, and I can copy this public DNS from here. You can say this public DNS. I will copy this, I will paste it in my browser. Let us see what happens. Okay, so here this is cool, right? I mean, you can access this page which we have on the IIS via internet. Okay, now if you want a shorter version, you just delete all this and you can just keep the public IP dot. Okay, this is the public IP. Okay, so this is accessible via the public IP as well. This public IP is nothing but the same as whatever has been defined here in this 13.126.4.143. okay, so this public IPv4 for public IP is there inside this public DNS as well. Okay, so somehow this has been, public DNS is an abstraction of public IP. So the IIS installation is successful, as we have tested outside this remote desktop. Okay, now if you want our own web page to be deployed over here, we will go ahead and paste one index.html page in www. So let us see what happens. I will minimize this, and I have kept one index file over here. I will copy this. So the content of this index file, I will just show what I have written over here, and we have already seen this. Maybe a little bit change is there, just I have added font color as red. Okay, so it's a simple HTML file. You can have your own HTML the way you want, write your name or write anything, whatever you want, not a problem. I will copy this index, Control C. I will go to this remote desktop and I will paste it here inside inetpub www root. Okay, now this is configured to run with index.html. Let us see what happens. Okay, we are out of our remote desktop and at my local machine, and let us refresh this. Okay, so how is this? Good, right? This is your first web page. Welcome to AWS EC2 demo. This course is brought to you by Adionics. Okay, this looks perfect. So we are here after successfully accessing the web page over internet. We are back to remote desktop inside the IIS console, and if you want we can add our own website as well. Add website, click sites and add website. Site name, for example, my first site. Here we are back to the remote desktop inside the IIS console. In sites, if you want, you can add your own website as well. Okay, to add our website, let us first go to the Windows Explorer, File Explorer, and this PC, C drive, inetpub. Okay, inside inetpub we will create our own folder so that we can deploy our pages over here. Let us call this my first website, or my first site to be simple. Okay, my first site. And for the content, let us copy this index, paste it. Okay, we can make a slight change so that open with more apps, notepad. Okay, let us repeat this. Font color, make it blue. My first website, Control S. So I saved it, and my first site and index page. So inside inetpub, my first site. We need to remember this path so that we can reference our new site over here. Again, go back to sites, add website, site name, my first site, physical path. This is the path where we have created our folder, local disk C inetpub, inside inetpub, my first site. Okay, now if you want to link this site with a host name or domain name, for example contoso.com or yourname.com or whatever, we can go ahead and write this over here. But since we don't have a domain name as of now, we will go ahead without a host name. Put it okay. Now there should be a small issue regarding port 80, because port 80 is already binding with the default website. So for the time being, click yes and stop this default website. Now we can start this. Now this first site is running on port 80. Let us check. Browse. So my first website at port 80 on this public DNS, my first website is deployed right now. So can we access this from internet? Yes, obviously. Now we will check and refresh this. Okay, so you can see my first website is there at port 80. If you remember, in security groups, we will go and check. In security groups for this instance, where is this? Yes, here it is. My view inbound rules. We have permitted port 80. The communication, HTTP communication is permitted at port 80. See this check mark. Okay. So any other port, if you want to deploy on any other port, we must whitelist that port over here. So do you want to check it out? Okay, let us go at IIS console again, close all tabs. To change the default port, once you are inside the IIS console of your remote desktop, just go to bindings. Just note here that my first site is selected. Okay, not default, my first site. My first site is selected, and we will go to bindings. Here we can change the port number. Okay, let us keep it as 8080. Okay, now it will be accessible over port 8080. Protocol HTTP and type port 8080. Close it. And if you want, you can enable this as well. Start, because now the ports are not clashing. This default website is at port 80 and my first site is at port 8080. To have a little bit more clarity, let us have a marker over here, open with notepad, and we'll just write my first website at port 8080. Copy this and save this. Okay, save it, and we will go back to inetpub www.root index, open with notepad, mark this as port 80, just 80, save it. We'll see whether the changes are reflected or not. We'll go out of this remote desktop. Okay, so this is at port 80, default port. If you are not writing anything, it means the default port. You can write it over here if you want. So this is the default website, the content of default website displayed at port 80. Now copy this IP, paste it here. Okay, now we'll copy this and open it in another browser window. It's port 80. Now if I want to access on port 8080, let us see what happens. Okay, so I think this will not connect to our site at 8080. What's the reason? This is because we have not allowed port 8080. See, this site can't be reached. Here also this site can't be reached. Okay, so we'll go back to our instance, my first server. We'll check security groups, my security group. We will go to my security group and change the configuration a bit. Inbound, go to inbound. Okay, inbound, and make a little more spaces. Once you are inside this security group, go to inbound rules and edit. Click edit, add rule, custom TCP. Okay, it's already there, custom TCP rule, and port range, we know our port is at 8080. Our application is deployed at port 8080, so I have written port 8080. Now I can click this as anywhere, and I can write here description as my first site. Okay, my first site is hosted at 8080, so it's just for identification. Save it. Now the security groups, if you remember, should be applied immediately. The configuration should be applied immediately. Let us. Okay, so as you can see that even after allowing the port 8080 at security groups, it's unable to render the page. Okay, so don't worry about this. Sometime it may happen, and it's good that it has happened during this demo. You will learn an extra trick as how to overcome this. Okay, so now we'll go to the remote desktop RDP, and we will allow port 8080 explicitly from the Windows firewall. Because of the Windows Defender firewall settings, sometimes it may not work in some of the Windows version. Okay, so be prepared for this. We will go to the run box and we will type firewall.cpl, just remember this, and we'll go to the advanced settings here, the last one. Click it, and left side top, inbound rules. Okay, inbound rules, and you come over here, extreme right top, new rule, or you can create it from here as well. Inbound rules, right click, new rule. We want to allow a port, so select port. I will drag it a little bit up so that you can see this next. Okay, next, specific local ports, we want to allow port 8080. Okay, next, allow the connection. Okay, keep it default. You can name it as allow 8080, and we can ignore the description if you want, but let us paste it and press finish. Okay, allow 8080 is here, and now we will go back to our local machine and see what happens over there. Okay, fingers crossed, let us see. So once we refreshed it, we are here, and as you can see, the version which was deployed at port 8080, my first website at port 8080, is accessed through port 8080 at the same server. The one which was at port 80 is accessed here 80. Okay, so sometimes you need to tweak a little bit here and there to fix a few things, but it works finally. This lecture was a bit longer, but I hope it is worthy of your time. Thank you. Here you have learnt about using an EC2 instance. Take a break and join me for the next lecture.